Together, the Neutral Zone, with your hosts, Bird Gang representative Casual E and Sean McConnell from Casual Sports, me, Jay Adams, and NFL vet Ed Smith from Easy Sports Talk. Buckle up for 60 minutes of NFL football previews and pick'ems. Hold tight as we preview this week's games with in-depth analysis and opinion and a flavor all our own. Bragging rights are on the line with the Neutral Zone Pick'em trophy up for grabs. It's the Neutral Zone. Lace them up. It is the Neutral Zone. We do this every week. It is our version of the football pick'em show. I am your co-host, Javon J. Love Adams, and joined as always by an esteemed cast of gentlemen. To my left on the screen here is the one and only Casual E. Earl Burnett. Right below him is the one and only Sean McConnell, who gets into football games when only 1,200 people are allowed to do so. And then right next to him is the one and only Ed Easy Smith. He played a little bit of football. He got a big old marshmallow head, all that kind of stuff, man. So we do this every Thursday. We break this down into 4 different segments. We keep score, and Sean will let us know kind of where we're at in terms of the standings, because there's a trophy. And Sean, if you want to hold that trophy up, I know you got it right next to you.
Yeah, that's the Silver Surfer, or Gold Surfer.
And Ed was telling me, he said when he wins it, he's not gonna leave it at your crib. He's gonna take it to his crib and he's gonna display it proudly.
Cold dead fingers. You have to get it from my cold dead fingers.
So we break this down into 4 different segments. The first segment, and it's also blame me if you don't like the way these things go, because it comes from my mind, so to speak. So the first segment are the games that really the kind of the highlight matchups of the week for various reasons, maybe just because of storylines or just because of maybe the records. And then the second segment, since we are a Cardinals show at heart, Arizona Cardinals show at heart, we always break that second segment, down to the Arizona Cardinals. They're on a bye this week, but we're still going to be doing that because that's how we do it. It just gives us more opportunity to break things down in different ways. And then the third segment, of course, that's the next tier of games. And the fourth segment, that's our laser round as we go through and just kind of get through those as quickly as possible and do our thing. So before we get the standings from Sean on buys this week, the Washington football team, of course, the aforementioned Arizona Cardinals, Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Houston Texans. So before we get started, Sean, what you got in terms of the standings?
Well, we always like to go last to first here because, I'm the one saying it and I'm the one in first. So I'm going to go in last place, Casually taking up the rear at 65 points.
I'm holding it down, buddy.
Holding it down a couple weeks in a row, not going to lie. Ed, you and Jay are tied at 70. So technically it has Jay above you, but I think that's just because he had a better week 7 than you did by 1 pick. And I'm holding it down at 73. So still a race for the top 3 spots. And yeah, Earl, you're definitely holding it down in the caboose. So
so let's get to it. Let's get into the first game of the week. Steelers
at the glass halfway empty. Somebody got to be back there, right?
Yeah.
I guess.
As long as it ain't me, dog. Somebody got to be back there. That's how I go in the streets. So let's get with this first game. It is the Steelers at Ravens. Coming in, it's 5-1 Ravens, 6-0 Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers got lucky last week in terms of still being undefeated. They with a missed field goal and all that type of stuff by when they played the Tennessee Titans. But this is always one of those. I heard somebody saying, and I think it was on ESPN this evening when I was on my way back home. I think it was Freddie and Fitzsimmons, that this for the past decade plus, I mean, whenever these two teams get together, it's more often than not going to be a great game. So let's go. Who do you got on this one, Ed?
And this is going to be a straight old school NFC North rock'em sock'em robots, man. This is two teams that don't like each other. They're going to get in the middle of this ring and they're going to battle it out. The thing I liked about the Steelers, and I know you think they got away with one last week, Jay, they look like they got the complete game right now. Running the ball, throwing the ball, defensively they're flying around the place. For me, Baltimore, I'm not saying anybody's figured them out yet, but when you can solve a piece of the puzzle, meaning stop Lamar just a little bit or if you get on top of them and make them have to come from behind, change their game plan, and they become more of a passing team straight up, don't like it. In this game, I could see the Steelers getting out front a little bit, changing Baltimore's entire game plan, and then it just sometimes gets real ugly from there. For that reason, I'm going to go with Pittsburgh in this one. And, like I said, a little different. I think it's just one of those games where all the fans are going to be out there, but it's going to be a quiet stadium for the most part. I think Pittsburgh, honestly, is just the better team.
Right.
Okay. Sean, what you got?
Yeah, Pittsburgh going back-to-back bloodbath gauntlets. I mean, first they had the last week with Tennessee. These are tough games, and they're playing them back-to-back. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do respond to this. I do have them favored in this game. This one meaning so much more to them, obviously being a divisional game. Ravens have to look themselves in the mirror after almost getting upset by Philly last week, giving up 22 points in the fourth quarter. Did they just let off the gas, or is it a sign of poor effort by the defense? Pittsburgh knows there's only one man that can defeat this team, and it's Jackson. The only thing he doesn't do for the offense is catching touchdowns. When these two teams play, it gets nasty, but I think Pittsburgh got the edge here solely because this Baltimore defense is slightly weaker than Pittsburgh's. I'm going to go with that strategy.
Casual E.
Yeah, coming into this game, I thought there were two teams in the league that were so well-rounded, like Ed just said, a complete team. It was two teams, and they played each other last week. I thought the Titans were a complete team as well, but they matched up, and, of course, Pittsburgh ends up the better team. They are well-rounded in every position. You're talking offense, defense, complementing each other, and then their special teams is probably better than any special teams in the league right now. So they are a complete team. But Ben doesn't have to be superstar Ben. He's just getting the ball to the weapons and letting those guys do the job for him. So he's not spectacular. But the Ravens have so many other issues right now. The Ravens can't get the ball to their wide receivers for some reason. Now I'm wondering if that's on Lamar, or is that just those receivers are not that good, or what? Because they rank last in the NFL with getting the ball to wide receivers, which is why they went out and got my man Dez Bryant on the practice squad. And he can be a veteran presence, not superstar no more. We already know he's past his prime, but a veteran presence for those young guys. But I'm gonna give you one more nugget. Both these two teams in its first 6 games haven't really played anybody except one game each. Both of them had one good game. The Steelers had theirs last week against the Titans, and they win that game. The Ravens had theirs versus the Chiefs, and they lost that game. So the team that can play elite level talent is the team I'm going with. That's the Steelers, and they can match up with anybody. Right now, the Ravens are struggling right now.
Let's move on to the Saints. Going to be playing the Bears. The Saints come in at 4-2, and the Bears 5-2. Was it a flimsy record as they were coming in? Is Nick Foles coming back to earth, coming back down to earth, or as math folks would like to say, regressing to the mean? So what you got in this one, Casual E?
Usually in the past, when you play the Saints, you got to score 30 points or more. But now they kind of, without Michael Thomas, I guess that's got a lot to do with it. But they don't have to worry about the Bears scoring anything because they don't score enough points. They're only averaging 19.7 points per game. That's 27th in the league. So the Saints will do just enough to win this game. I'm going with the Saints in this game for sure.
Ed, what you got?
And you know how I do with the home team. For me in this one, Drew is a different quarterback these days, obviously with the dink and dunk, and the Saints always seem to play a little different outside on the grass and the elements. It's almost like they get a little slower. In this game right here, I don't necessarily think the Bears are going to have to score a whole bunch of points because I think that defense is going to stifle the Saints a little bit, and all we need is a turnover here or there. And I hate to put my trust in Nick Foles and that offense because it stinks. And that's why I'm going to say the defense is going to win this game. It ain't going to be nothing about the offense. Yeah. So for that reason, I think I'm leaning toward the Bears in this one. You'll still wait to see if Michael Thomas is actually going to be out there. But even if he is, it's going to be a whole lot of rust on that 10-man. So I'm going with the Bears in this one.
Sean, how do you see this one playing out?
Yeah, I see Ed's game as a really good pick. I'm going to pick against the grain, though, on this one and go with the Saints because I think Chicago could have been undefeated and heavily favored in more games if they could just do one thing effectively, and that's run the ball. They can't run the ball to save their lives. Montgomery has, 96 carries for 353 yards on the season. With a strong defense, you need a great run game to run the clock off against your opponents so they have no chance to get into a rhythm. That's what's been plaguing these couple of losses for them. New Orleans needs to continue to build in order to put Carolina to rest and lock in the 2 spot in their own division. So this New Orleans defense is actually good against a run, which means a one-dimensional game for Chicago, which means Foles throwing the ball. So with that being said, I think the Saints will have the edge here just because Foles is going to have some mistakes passing the ball.
All right, so we want to move on to New England Patriots coming in at 2-4, going to be facing the Buffalo Bills at 5-2. And here's something, just something that I was listening. You guys know that I like to listen to a lot of Bomani Jones podcasts and whatnot. And he put this theory out there. Of course, we know that we're in the age of COVID with what's going on, and you hear about the people with, just not everybody's dying when they get COVID. We know that Earl had COVID, was diagnosed with COVID, and he had some lingering symptoms and all those things. And an interesting theory that Bomani posed was that you have some athletes that have really been affected by it, in terms of there's a couple that have been out for an indefinite period of time, and we know that Cam Newton had COVID, and then also with the Ezekiel Elliott as well. And so sometimes you hear about people talking about being in a fog or in a haze and just not feeling like themselves. And he said, well, maybe could it be that Cam's bad play, it might be related to some of his lingering issues, maybe his shoulder, maybe it's he had the foot and all those types of things, but could it be maybe some of those symptoms from COVID? And athletes typically don't like to give excuses for poor play. So just throwing something like that out there. I just thought that was an interesting theory. But the Patriots are 2-4 coming in. This is an unusual spot for them. We know that Cam was benched last week, and so I'm sure the leash, pardon me, will be short for him as well. So just curious how you guys see this playing out, because this is one of those rare times when New England is actually not favored in a game. Sean, who you got in this one?
This is going to be the typical national media response too. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. The Patriots are struggling to find any consistency whatsoever. It's still way too early to put that pin on the Patriots because it's the Patriots, to declare them dead in the water. But the Bills are coming into this game expecting to build off of those tough losses to KC and Tennessee. Newton has 7 interceptions to 2 touchdowns passing, showing huge inaccuracies all over the place. This offensive scheme may just be too much for him with how the preseason played out, not having a lot of time to digest it. The Bills defense are going to look to capitalize that. So I'm saying Bills at home.
What you got, Casual E?
Yeah, this game doesn't feel as big as it felt when we saw it on the schedule in the beginning. Everybody's thinking Buffalo's coming up in the ranks and Patriots are the Patriots, and it's going to be this big game when they play each other. But both these teams have hit a snag. I mean, I look at the Buffalo snag as though, like they just played 2 good teams, the Chiefs and Titans, and they lost. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you play 2 good teams, you're just not on that level yet. And that's okay.
Yeah.
But the Patriots right now, and Cam Newton, like Sean was just saying, in my opinion, I think Bill Belichick wants to push the issue and get more of that offense, the complex stuff, into that offense, and Cam probably just can't pick it up. And that's probably what's going on right now. And then what you say about the COVID thing, I am going to say, just from my standpoint, and when I went through it, after a month and 2 months after I had it, conditioning is going to be a factor if it gets something inside of you that you had some type of, maybe you're dealing with asthma or you're dealing with something, anything that may have causing that can cause, breathing issues. It can cause that for a while. So, I mean, it took me, I was going up and down the stairs, huffing and puffing. It's like, damn, they're just stairs. But for months after that way. So I don't know if that's affecting him or not, but there's nobody else behind him. And I'm pretty sure he's going to be the starter again going forward for them. I'm going to take the Bills because they can still move the ball. But man, they didn't score no touchdowns last week to the Jets. No touchdown. So Allen is struggling right now, but the Patriots haven't stopped the run as good as I thought they would too. So if Singletary and Allen can be good running for the Buffalo Bills, that might open up their passing game. So I'm going with Buffalo.
Easy, who you got?
Yeah, in a situation like, everybody's talking about the COVID and everything, and, until you walk a mile in somebody's shoes, you
Right.
have no idea. And the only person who can really speak on it is Earl, because he obviously experienced it, and I'm glad to have him on the other side of it. So, I don't know what possibly is going on physically. I look at Cam and I see a brother that looks kind of confused and tentative out there. And also, I was talking to somebody I did a show earlier today, and his arm. I've had three shoulder reconstructions, bro. And there, when it is, and I've had my back done. There's that old saying: once you have a bad back, you always have a bad back. Same thing goes with a shoulder, especially for a quarterback. He does not look good in terms of throwing the ball. I mean, he's all over the place, erratically, short, long when he tries to heave it. It doesn't look. His shoulder looks really, really tight right now. And like I said, when I was in my baseball career trying to come off that first surgery, man, throws that used to be really easy for me with, like smooth, and man, it was like it took every ounce of everything I had to get it across the diamond. So I can only imagine what he's going through physically. For this game, though, the Bills, and I equate it like this: the Bills are like that little brother who was always being beat on by the big brother, right? And all of a sudden, the little brother went through yeah.
Ed, hold up before you say that story.
It's time to
talk to Mr. Ed. We've been waiting for weeks for that one.
I like that. All right, it's story time here.
Yeah.
You know that little brother who took the beatings all through the years, right? Yeah. And all of a sudden he went through the growth spurt. Now all of a sudden, big brother's looking up and little brother, right? And this is that time right here where the Bills have been taking beatings for years and years and years.
Right.
And all of a sudden now they're looking at big brother like, what you got? What you got in my 40, homie? And this is their opportunity to put their foot on their neck, because obviously they are struggling right now. You don't want big brother to, because big brother, we some of us have been in that position. We always want to make sure we're the dominant one, right? This is the opportunity for the Bills to put that beat down on them and kind of put their stamp on this division. Like, look, now you have to come through us. So I'm looking for Buffalo to come out with fire, with intensity, regardless of what they've done in the last few weeks offensively, against who and what, why. When you're playing the Patriots and you've been beat down for all these years, it's time for you to rise up. I don't mean to steal from our Cardinals out here, but yeah, I'm sure they're thinking that in the locker room over there in Buffalo.
Hey, anytime you got a story like that, just cue me up. I got
good. Hey, good one, man. That was
good. Oh man! So now we're gonna go to San Francisco, coming in at 4-3, going at the Seattle Seahawks, who are 5-1. That one hung on them by the one and only Arizona Cardinals. So this is will Seattle be able to get right? One of the things that we talked about last week was the porous defense of the Seattle Seahawks, and it seemed like Russell Wilson, that the Cardinals maybe presented a little bit of a blueprint, a game plan for maybe being able to really get to Russell Wilson. But the 49ers are well coached. We see that. We know that they'll come ready to play no matter what they don't have or the ups and downs of their quarterback play. So what you got in this one, Casual E?
Big division game is a big division game, and the loser gets 2 blows after losing this game. If they lose this game, you get a loss on your record and you get another loss in the division. That's 2 blows, because in this division, it could come down to tiebreakers and who wins and losses in the division. Probably will come down to tiebreakers in this division. So, man, these two teams go at it when they go at each other. So it's another one of those division games. The Cardinals being 2-0 in this division haven't lost in the division yet. So somebody's going to have 2 losses already early in the season. Seattle's strength is their offense. We know that. We saw it last week. That's all they can do. That all season long, that's all they've done. I heard you guys on the Cardinals Believe this afternoon, or was it Tuesday, I believe? And you guys were talking about what's wrong with Russell Wilson. What happened to Russell? I don't think anything is wrong with Russell Wilson at all. I think what happened was the same MVP candidate was the same guy that was on that field against the Cardinals, the same guy. Did you see his first half? 377 yards, total offense, 388 for the total, 3 touchdowns. The only difference was he had a defense that he had to go up against finally. They ain't play nobody. They haven't played anybody for one half. I say one half, which is the second half and overtime. The Cardinals gave him some resistance, something he hadn't seen before all season long. So nothing was wrong with Russell. I just think that, you got to play against, give the defense some credit that he was playing against, that strategized against them to make him, force him into a few things. But he still lit it up. Did you see the passes he threw in that game? The pinpoint accuracy? That's still Russell. So I didn't see anything wrong with him at all other than the Cardinal defense. But other than that, I think the 49ers are going to have problems in this game because Jimmy G can't do what the Cardinals did against that bad Seattle defense. Jimmy G can't light the scoreboard up throwing the ball. He's got to depend on that running game. 2 picks last week, no touchdowns at all. He had 4 touchdowns, but it was all running from a 49ers standpoint. So I'm looking at this game going to be a knockdown, drag out. Seattle will have just enough offense to pull it out.
Ed, who you got?
I'm right there with Earl. I like Seattle in this game, especially coming off a loss to the Cardinals, kind of a little wake-up call for them. And quite honestly, yeah, Russ just had a bad few plays. It wasn't a bad game. Obviously, he played a great game. It was just a couple, and we talked about a couple, on the Believe in Arizona Cardinals podcast. Nice plug there. We talked about how there was just a couple things were off about Russ, and I guess when you watch somebody watch somebody walk on water for so many weeks, then all of a sudden they have that bad one. It's like, what was wrong? It's like, everybody has a bad game, and some of us forced by the Cardinals. In this game, I do think that the 49ers defense, obviously minus so many pieces. You're going to be battling against Russ. They're probably going to try to come out and enforce that run game first and then a little play action, et cetera, et cetera. I'm right there with you, Earl. I think the matchup of the quarterbacks will decide this game, and you got to give the edge to Russell Wilson. And, like I said, it's going to be a close and competitive game. It might come down to a turnover, something like this, but I just think Seattle will have just enough to win this one.
Well, how you see this one playing out, Sean?
Yeah, you gave the go ahead for me, Jay. The Cardinals did give some teams the blueprint on how to play Wilson. You get his confidence up with some soft coverages, which we do really well. Then you disguise the hell out of your blitz packages late. When a quarterback expects an 8-man rush and only gets 4, he tends to overcook his entree. For the 49ers, it speaks volumes to what a loss to Miami will do for your team. They're looking strong against New England and the Rams. There is no Samuel in this matchup, so I'm giving Seattle the edge for being at home and finding ways to keep games close.
They got blasted by Miami, huh?
Yeah, they did.
Right.
Indeed.
Hey, can I ask you guys a question real quick? Especially you, Sean, as a Cardinal fan. Which one would you rather have of these two teams losing? Would it be the 49ers losing and going further down in the division, or the Seahawks losing and you come in first place? Now, before you go first place, just remember, the 49ers going down in the rankings gives you almost a guarantee that you're one of those 3 teams that might be coming out of this West.
Yeah, I want the 49ers to lose.
I would think the 49ers to lose as well, because I like my chances in Seattle to go beat them twice this year. This team looks like they can actually beat Seattle twice this year. But I also am not opposed to the division getting real muddy. Just like the NFC East is tarry muddy, like disgusting mud. This type of muddy gives you a chance that in case you slip up, you might get to that 3rd spot. There might still be a 3rd NFC West team coming out. So
right.
Either way, it's a win-win for us.
Exactly.
Indeed. So we have come to the end of the first segment. We're going to come back and we're going to get into a very deep discussion about where the Arizona Cardinals are at as they enjoy this bye week.
You are listening to the Neutral Zone right here on the hottest internet radio station on the web, KSRNAZ.com.
Welcome to the Neutral Zone Show. Lace them up.
It is the Neutral Zone. Again, I am your co-host, Javon J. Love Adams, joined by Earl Burnett, Sean McConnell, and Ed Smith. And so this is the part of the show where we talk about the Arizona Cardinals. Now, I'll be the first one to say, I mean, the Cardinals are 5/7 of the way to the victory total that I predicted. I predicted 7 wins, so they 5/7 of the way there. So that's cool. They right on track. They right on target. And as my partner will say sometimes, he's prone to say, we talk to and we've heard this as well, is that it's not about how you are right now. It's about how you finish, because there have been a lot of teams that were well above 500 and then ended up
That's true.
at 500. So we just hope that the Cardinals continue on this pace. They are 5-2. They ended up beating the division rival Seattle Seahawks last week in an overtime thriller, 37-34. The defense really stepped up, and man, somebody who, as I mentioned in the Believe in the Arizona Cardinals podcast, the number was 6%. That is the number. That is the percentage of defensive snaps that Isaiah Simmons had, and he ended up getting himself an interception that turned the game. Another number to throw out, one, which was another interception by Budda Baker. So is this the awakening of a defense by Vance Joseph finally saying, I don't care what I got, I'm going to run my defense the way I want to run it, no matter if I have all the right parts or not. So I want to get into kind of give some mid-season kind of grades and just kind of go through in terms of the coaching. So we're going to go with coaching first, and then special teams, defense, and offense. Then I want to get you guys some random thoughts on that. So first we're going to go around your grade on a A to F level on coaching. And so this is, you can take it wherever you want. I'm thinking coaching in terms of the entire coaching staff, not just the head coach. But so Casual E, what you got on coaching? What do you think?
I'm going to go with a C+ in coaching, simply because we still have some issues with play calling, the correct play calling, some confusion on the sideline, everybody running around trying to get timeouts, clock management's all up in the air still. So those type of things, can be worked out and get better, and they will get better. I think they will. So coaching staff, defensively wise, like you just said earlier about Vance Joseph finally using what he has rather than saying I don't have, finally putting that out on the field too as well. So I give him a C.
Sean, what do you got?
Yeah, my grade went up. I'm grading on a curve. My grade went up with these last 2 weeks. I'm going to give the coaching a B+ because in the last 2 weeks we saw less horizontal offensive plays and we saw better defensive performances using what we had. Those same reasons that Earl said, but I'm grading on a curve because the last 2 weeks were a lot more improved. So I'm going to go B+. I think we've actually figured out our identity now. And it's crazy that you figured it out now after beating Dallas and Seattle, but what better way to find out than going through fire, right?
Right.
Indeed. Ed?
I'm going to go, I think we talked about this the other day. I'm in that B range for coaching. I'm starting to see that the game plans are becoming better. Let's just call it that. When I think about coaching, I don't always think of the X's and O's on the field. I look at how prepared these guys are,
Right.
how aggressive they are on the field, flying around a little bit, and that all starts with coaching. We talked about this a lot on the show the last couple of years, especially when we had the other coaching staff in here. Man, it was like they look confused out there. They look slow out there. For me, it's not even all about wins and losses sometimes. It's about how you win or how you lose. And right now, this team looks like they are gaining confidence, flying around out there. The X's and O's and some of the performances on the field will get better and better each week. But at least we're seeing a team that's prepared. They have a game plan. They still got to figure out some of those shaky moments over there, that stop the jitters and stuff like that. But that comes with time and experience. But right now, they look like they at least know what the heck they're doing, and that's half the battle right there.
Right.
Special teams, Earl.
Well, special teams I'm gonna give them a B+. I mean, they haven't done anything bad on special teams. That's always the better alternative. But I mean, special teams overall in the NFL period hasn't been all that great. There's only been 3 kick returns and 0 punt returns. So as long as they're not giving up the punt return, the blocks and all those things are what we can give ourselves a strong grade on. But I mean, I don't see anything negative on the special teams at all, especially with Gardak and Evans on that unit. They do a damn good job. So I'm actually go A on that.
Okay.
Special teams, we've been pretty cool.
Sean?
See, you just gave Earl some extra credit, and he just changed the grade right before he
I
put the
sure
report
did.
card. I'm gonna
up on that quick.
I'm gonna say A- because Zane is not a 100% accuracy type kicker. He's gonna miss a couple here and there, and it's gonna hurt you. It's gonna sting a little bit. But like you said with the blocks and whatnot, it hasn't been overly special. So I'm gonna go A-.
And Ed?
I'm right there with Earl and Sean. I go B plus. Nothing spectacular, but when you throw on the block punt, which helped us win that San Francisco game, and then the fact that they haven't done anything stupid
Right.
to lose the game, that's when
There
that's
you
when
go.
that's when it's like, okay, at least we didn't mess it up, that type of thing. So, still looking for improvement, but like I said, they haven't cost themselves a game, shooting themselves in the foot. B plus.
Shout out to Amos Jones.
Indeed. Defense, Earl.
Man, defense, we've already said it. Vance Joseph finally using what he has rather than looking around and saying, I need this, I need that. He's putting his speed to his advantage. And I love that. We have a lot of speed on this defense, a lot of undersized guys that might not be able to hit a 350-pound man and get to the quarterback, but he can speed past them. So we got a lot of speed coming from our secondary, coming from all over the place. You never know where they're coming from. I love what he did in that game where he had 7 guys rush up to the line of scrimmage, and one guy fakes in like he's coming in, and Russell points that dude out. That's the guy coming. That's the guy coming. And the ball snaps. 3 guys go back. You don't know where everybody coming from. So it was man. Defense right now, I'm going to give him a B just because he came from a D up to a B, finally making that adjustment to his defense.
Sean?
Yeah, same mindset. A B-. It was way lower weeks prior, just because. Why are you being so stubborn? And I'm going to keep saying this though. Why are you being so stubborn? Isaiah Simmons needs to play more, and he just showed why. I don't care if you put Isaiah Simmons in that same spot and have him either drop back 5 yards or run at the quarterback 5 yards the other way. Just have him go like this all game long. If you can do that, I'll give you an A+ on your final.
Ed?
I'm in the C range. I C to C plus. I think they're doing a good job. Obviously, you lose a piece like Chandler Jones. That's a big hit to the defense. But what I've seen so far, and I think we talked about this the other day, Jay, and I think reports were that at halftime of the Seattle game, the players came in and were like, look, we need to unleash a little bit. And I give kudos. If that did happen, I give kudos to the players for voicing the opinion. I give kudos to the coaching staff, especially Vance, for listening to it and saying, okay, what do we got to lose? Let's go out there and throw it around a little bit. And I think that might establish their identity and maybe bring those guys together to show them what they can do moving forward. And, we've all pointed out the lack of use for Simmons. If they can get him involved, that will really boost his confidence, but also almost like give you an extra weapon out there defensively that they don't currently have. And obviously trying to replace Chandler Jones, you can't do that, but have more options. So I'm looking for them to get better and take more chances as we move in second half of the season, but definitely a solid first half performance.
Let's get to the offense real quick. Your thoughts on the offense, Earl?
Offense is our strength right now. They're getting better and better. Kyler's becoming a better leader. Cliff is leaning on him even more to be a leader. If they can stop taking the shotgun and shooting their toes off, with the penalties pre-snap and all those things, and getting off to these slow 3-and-out starts, this team, like I kept saying for the last few weeks, is they're about a focus away from being a juggernaut offense.
Sean?
I'm giving them a B+ on offense right now.
I'm going to give them a solid A, but yeah, this team is built like a Ferrari with a bad igniter, right? Like it takes a little bit too much to get, and maybe it's a battery. I don't know much about cars, but it takes a little bit too much to get the car to turn over and start and go, right? Before you can get it on the track. If you can shore up those things early in the first, like that first 3-and-out in that supposed to be a planned drive against Seattle, and they go 3-and-out because you got a drop ball, penalty, and then a scramble that went nowhere, right? So if you can fix these things, you're golden. I'm giving them faith because I think they're showing the effort, they're learning, they're making changes, and they just have so much potential. A.
All right, and Ed?
Go B-. I'm still waiting, and obviously with the lack of Kenyon Drake out there due to injury, I've been saying all along, I need to see more out of the running game to support the passing game, and you can't have your quarterback as your leading rusher. That's not a good recipe for me, especially when, we saw what Kenyon could do last year. It just seems like they're not using all of his abilities and talent according to fitting him into this offense. And obviously with him going down now, we got to, first get him back from injury and then figure everything out. But when they get that running game established, whether it's with Edmonds or however they decide to do it, that just brings so much more dimension to this offense. In the meanwhile, we're going to continue to do what we do. Kyler's going to scramble, do his thing. But, because of that lack of what I call a real big punch in the running game, I'm giving them a B, knowing that if they bring that portion of the game or that portion of the offense along, they can be so much better.
All right, so real quick, just a quick yes or no. Do you think that they will keep this pace up? And we're going to move on to the next game. Do you think that they can keep this pace up in what they're doing? And when you look ahead at the schedule, Earl, you think they can keep it up?
Yes, they can keep up this pace. They'll get better because they're going to be better.
All right, Sean?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Ed?
I think they can, but it's still going to be a little up and down, a little roller coaster in my opinion.
Can I add something to that real quick, though, Jay?
No.
Yeah.
The reason why they're going to be better is because they're going to be coming back off this perfect bye week as a healthy team. They got off of IR, Jalen Thompson, Max Williams, J.R. Sweezy, Rashard Lawrence, and then you got to also factor in that Prince Amukamara and Marcus Golden are going to be up to speed when they get off that bye week. And then the guys that got banged up Sunday, Phillips, Hicks, Kirkpatrick will all be ready to go. This will be a healthy team coming back. So as long as they don't overlook nobody, they should be off and running.
There you go. There you go. So let's move on we're going to move on and talk about the Raiders at the Browns. Interesting that, man, the score against the Patriots the Buccaneers, pardon me, looked worse than it was because it was close in the fourth quarter, and then all of a sudden it's as if the floodgates opened up. But a loss is a loss. The Browns, OBJ is out for the rest of the season, but Baker Mayfield the last couple of weeks, it's almost as if he took some Wayback Machine pills in terms of how he played it in college. So how do you guys see this one playing out, Sean? What do you think?
I'm leaning Cleveland here because I always lean Cleveland, and I'm seeing the Raiders kind of teeter-totter here, and it kind of scares me to pick them. That Cleveland offense really has to figure something out, and sometimes when you lose a piece, it can make it less confusing. So maybe that's what's going to happen with Cleveland. I think Kareem Hunt's going to be heavily relied on in this game. They usually rush for about 157 on average. Both defenses allowing 400 yards, so it could become a shootout, which will get real interesting. Both teams allow more points than they score. So I'm going to go Cleveland more because they're at home, I think. I don't feel good about either of them.
Ed?
This is a battle of the two faces right here. Y'all ever watch the Seinfeld episode where the girl looked pretty in the light?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you go into the dark. Both of these teams have the capacity to do that. One week you're like, damn, they look really good. Yeah. And then you get them in the dark, it's like, ugh. You can't wait to get away.
It's supposed to be the other way around. It's supposed to be to look good.
So this could be a game where they both show up and look like, conference champions, or they could both turn up and look like doo-doo. We just don't know. For me, with the Browns, if they don't realize their formula, you obviously you don't have Chubb right now, but if Kareem Hunt doesn't get a steady dose, and then you take Baker and limit him so he can't make any of those crazy mistakes, I think they'll win this game. But if obviously with Odell Beckham going down there losing a weapon, but I hope they don't get crazy and think they want to spray the ball over the place. And as far as the Raiders, like I said, they could shock us all. I'm going to pick Cleveland, but they could shock us all and come out here and beat them 45-0 as far as we know.
Earl?
Yeah, Baker Mayfield looked like finally what everybody wants Baker Mayfield to look like, but I have a caveat with that. He was playing the freaking Bengals. And usually when he plays a nobody defense, he looks good. So let's see him play a good team. Unfortunately, it's not this Raiders team this week because this Raiders team has got their running game. Josh Jacobs is in a sophomore slump right now, man. I was riding him the first 3 weeks like, Raiders defense, that running game. Now it's like, damn, what happened to it? He's averaging 3.4 yards per carry. His game last week, a whopping 10 carries for 17 yards with 1.7 average. Wow. Woo. Good job, Raiders. So without that running game, Derek Carr can't be balanced as Derek Carr's been. But he'll be able to throw for a lot of yards in this game because Cleveland gives up, like Sean said, 400 yards and throwing the ball. So this is going to be a shootout, 38-30 Browns.
All right, so let's move on to Colts at Lions. Colts 4-2. Phillip Rivers. Nobody. I don't think any of us believe in Phillip Rivers. Detroit 3-3. Both of these teams. I know that in terms of where they in the rankings or in the stats, that the defense for the Indianapolis Colts is nothing to shake a stick at. But so, what do you got in this one, Casual E?
I have it blank on my page here, but I'm gonna go with this. The Lions believe that they're a contender right now for a playoff spot. They're 3-3, and you know why they think they're a contender? They went out and traded and got Everson Griffin for their pass rush. So when you're adding big pieces like that, so you're thinking you're a contender, you're going to go out and try to contend. So will they? Who knows? But I'm taking the Lions in this game because they can throw. They can get the ball down the field and do their thing. And if you get a pass rush on Phillip Rivers, game over in the fourth quarter.
Sean?
Yeah, can we just for a moment acknowledge that Matt Stafford gets like no credit nationally, like at all?
That's so true.
He's got over 1,500 passing yards, 10 touchdowns, and like very little interceptions. And he can pull off late game drives. He showed it last week. Shocked us all on that.
Reminds you of Jeff George, don't it?
Huh.
I don't know if I was old enough for that guy. But anyways, his biggest test will be this Colts defense. Even though they haven't looked as stout as they used to in the last 2 weeks, I'm going to take the Lions at home because you know what you get with Stafford, and you have no idea what to expect with Rivers.
Yes, you do. Picks in the fourth quarter.
Ed?
Well, I'd say this, Sean. The reason that Stafford is underrated because that man ain't got does he even have one playoff victory?
Oh.
He's great regular season wise, but
That's
and he's
true.
had some talent there before. I know they've never seemed to bring their running game with them, but over the years, he's had some talented wide receivers, and he's a stat monster, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll pack them in there, but the wins are what I always have a problem with. But in this situation right here, though, this is Phillip Rivers, man, he's going to give you one or two every game, it seems like. And this is one of those ones where he's going to give up a late one and be out there hollering at everybody. But Detroit should win this game.
Rams at Dolphins. Part of the reason for this, well, the Dolphins are doing, I think we think that the Dolphins are headed in the right direction in terms of the culture that they're building and all that good stuff. The Rams, this is, of course, we keep an eye on the Rams because they are a division foe of the Cardinals, but this is going to be Tua's first game since he's been handed the reins or given the reins to the franchise. So your thoughts on this one, Ed?
Yeah, this one, I always like to think, if this was going to be my first NFL start, couldn't you find me an easier opponent than the Rams defensively? You got Darnold, Arnold, they're over there just salivating. They're going to throw everything but the kitchen sink at him to confuse him. And this is one of those ones, and it's going to look really ugly early. And I always said, don't judge him on this because this is going to be rough. The Rams are going to get after him coverage-wise, stunt-wise, you name it. They're going to be coming after him. And this, I would not want to be in his shoes. So I'm definitely going with the Rams here. And it might get a little ugly midway through the game.
How you see this one playing out, Earl?
Have you ever seen a cartoon where there's a race going on and the arrow's pointing this way and some guy comes and turns it upward like that? And you don't know what direction you're going in. That's what the Miami Dolphins look like to me. What direction are they going in? Because why would you pull that? Why would you put that kid out there right now, knowing that you were 3-3 in the race in the division? Fitzpatrick had you in the race, and you could be a playoff team still. Why throw the kid in there now? He's going to lose games for you. That's going to happen. Did you start him against this Ram defense? I mean, Aaron Donald's he's gonna be, like he said, licking his chops to get to that kid. I mean, he's gonna get his welcome to the NFL moment. You just hope it ain't Aaron Donald knocking you on your butt. But
You definitely
in this one though. But I don't understand the direction of it. I don't get that.
Yeah, because I was talking to Ed about this, and they could definitely do what the Cincinnati Bengals did when Carson Palmer came into the league, and they had who was it again? Ed, goodness
Kitna.
gracious, Kitna. Thank you. It was
Yeah.
Kitna that groomed him for a year and then handed
Whole
over the
year.
reins.
Exactly.
So that's I think that's what they could do. Sean, how you see this one going?
You know, Ed, you said they're not going to throw the kitchen sink. Donald's very strong. He could probably throw a kitchen sink at him, but
Yeah.
it might not be allowed in the game. I feel like the Dolphins haven't seen 500 in a long time, and this is going to look like a totally different team with Tua at the helm.
Right.
Trouble is, Rams don't know if that benefits them or not. Tua had a whole bye week to soak up as much as possible, and the Rams have virtually no tape on this guy in the NFL. The Rams have played a few teams closer than predicted before. This could actually be one of those games. But Tua will have to prove a lot for me to start picking them to win games, so I'm going with the Rams.
But for us, the Cardinals fans, they putting something on tape for us for next time.
And that's why we're grateful.
Exactly.
Indeed. So let's move to the once proud franchise of Ed Smith, the Falcons. The Falcons on Thursday night went to Carolina and played the Panthers. The Panthers ended up the Falcons ended up actually winning this
Are
game.
you kidding me?
25-17.
Yes, and so Thursday night game. So that's one of those odd things because as Ed says in our group chats,
Wow.
group text that the Falcons are the best team in the league at snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. So how did you see this one playing out, Sean?
This game actually had a lot of intrigue for me than I think the league was going to give it credit for. Carolina has to win here. I thought they did to have a chance to compete with New Orleans in the division. Atlanta has proven their stats with their set that they're a better offense than the win-loss column would dictate. I'm still going to be going with the team at home. I was saying Carolina the whole way. It was going to be a messy divisional game, and it certainly looked like it.
Ed?
I knew this was going to happen. You pick Atlanta, they lose. Don't pick them, they win. And
Yep.
you talking about, I can't stand any game that has Atlanta in it because you just never know. And, of course, they mess everybody up by coming out and winning this game. But I went with Carolina just because they were at home and, just seemed like the better team. Teddy Two Gloves didn't show up today, though. So,
Got his gloves.
Yeah, I told y'all last week that the Panthers were a pretender, and they just proved it again tonight. They're a pretender. So I'm not looking forward for them seeing them in no playoffs anytime soon. But I am looking forward to the trade deadline on November 3rd. Will Matt Ryan get dealt? That's what I'm looking for because I got to think he can get dealt.
Don't you guys hate losing a Thursday game? It sets my whole week where I'm just like, now I'm like, I don't even want to pick the rest of the week. I'm like, forget
one
this.
loss. I'm like, damn. Did it 2 weeks in a row, I think. Like,
You gotta shake it off, man.
Oh man, we got Tampa Bay going to the Giants on Monday night. I guess because the Giants still have to play some games just because they got to play out the string, do what they do. I mean, again, this is why this is in the fourth segment. So, what you got in this one, Casual E?
Buccaneers, no defense to play against. It's a practice. Just get your practice on. Get AB some time out there. Get acclimated.
Oh, yes, that is correct. What you got, Ed?
Same thing. I don't even know why they're going to play this game. They should hopefully – well, no, I was going to say the Giants come down with something. they just get to take the weekend off.
Sean?
Yeah, the Giants looking to double down on the season, offload unsightly contracts, and go back to the draft board. Buccaneers will win big.
All right, so then we're going to – the Jets, goodness gracious, Jets at the Chiefs. Are the Jets going to made me think of the Dave Chappelle skit. Is he gonna have to choke it? But are the Jets going to go winless in this season? It's possible. They got to stumble into a win, right? But anyway, so Jets and Chiefs. I don't think it'll be this game. What you got in this one, Sean?
Shock the world by this game being anything under 50-0. Chiefs win.
And Earl, what you got?
I'm just going to say exactly what he just said. Chiefs.
And Ed.
If the Chiefs lose this game, they should all have to walk home. They're not
already at home.
Yeah. Make them walk back to New York then.
Exactly.
All right, so I think we got everybody in that one. Let's see. What do we got? The Chargers at the Broncos. Chargers, their quarterback, I mean, I think he's been performing better than we thought that he would. I mean, compared to what he was doing, especially his last season in college. What is it, Herbert? So doing quite well. We got the Broncos, who are just kind of the Broncos. They just there. What you got in this one, Ed?
Herbert and Burrow might be the reason why Tua's starting right now, because
Right.
Dolphins are looking around and they're like, well, we need to get our girl out there on the dance floor too.
That's a good point.
And with this one, like I said, Herbert looks really, really good. And it's crazy. You know, we all need to have a moment of silence for our man who took that lung shot. Because otherwise, without that, Herbert
Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
Herbert will still be sitting on the bench. But that's a potential piece of gold. You know, miners used to be out there looking for it, and you uncover something. He looks really good, man. I'm looking for the Chargers to win this. Only the Chargers, though, could figure out a stupid way to lose a game like this. You know, but Phillip isn't out there anymore, so we'll go with the Chargers, hopefully confidently in this one.
Earl.
Yeah, I had to hit my boy Mitch up and give him props because he was banging on Herbert, telling us Herbert was going to be good. He's been telling us all back through the draft. He kept saying this dude going to be a bust. He's going to be, he is a baller, man. This dude has balled his butt off. So I'm going with the Chargers in this game. But my question is he just like one of those, like a child, like just not knowing what's going on and just being good, and then next year he'll struggle?
Maybe.
But I don't know. He looks like he's got it all together, man.
You mean like the baby? You mean like the baby that starts walking and you say, "Oh, you're walking," and they fall and they don't know what they're doing. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Sean.
Yeah, Denver finally found their quarterback of the future, guys. They just need to secure the number 1 pick to get him, so the Chargers win.
How many quarterbacks will John Elway draft?
It's got to be this one, right?
It'll be another one, that's for sure.
Another one. So the Cowboys at Eagles, it is the Sunday night game because somebody has to win this NFC East. Yeah, I mean, I guess Carson Wentz has been playing a little bit better, question mark. How you guys have this one playing, going? Sean, what you got?
Do we even have to pick this one? I mean, every week there's a new leader in this division. I'm going 6-3 Philly.
6-3.
Field goals only.
Oh my goodness. Ed?
I'm watching 60 Minutes on Sunday night, man. I'm not even. I'm gonna pick Philly, but like I said, this is not polluting my television airwaves. I'm watching something else.
I might fall asleep in minute 3 of 60 Minutes.
Man, what you got, Earl?
This just in. The Cowboys and Eagles game have been moved to Cartoon Network. This is not a professional game.
Oh, man.
3 jokes in a row. We nailed it. Yes.
I'm definitely going to go with the Eagles, but they got a little bit of a pulse, though. So I'm going with that.
Man, so now the Vikings have started to trade players, haven't they? Haven't they kind of said dealer out? We got the Vikings at 1-5 going into the Packers of Green Bay, as my wife would say, at 5-1. Man, I feel sorry for your nephew, man. I mean, at least he getting paid, dog. At least he getting paid. We're gonna start with you, Ed. What you got?
Yeah, instead of trading players, man, they need to start firing coaches. I'm serious. I mean, this is, I was driving with my son today, and we were talking about, how bad it is up there and everything. And he started, well, they said bench Kirk Cousins. That's too much guaranteed money. You can't put that money on the bench, And then like I said, the coaching stinks, the player, the game plans, everything. Packers should win this one running away. But once again, it's one of those division games. We'll see how it goes. But Packers should put this one away early.
Earl?
Yeah, the Packers will score 4 straight touchdowns. Then the Minnesota Vikings will start moving the ball. And that's why I picked up my man. I picked up Irv Smith just for that reason, for fantasy purposes.
There you
go. Sean?
Yeah, Minnesota's in for a world of hurt in this game. The defense stops nobody. Packers win this game backwards.
Oh my goodness. Tennessee Titans 5-1 heading to Cincinnati at 1-5-1. This is one of those things. It looks like the Cincinnati Bengals have themselves a good quarterback, but is it coaching for them? Is it just the lack of talent that has them where they are at 1-5-1? So what do you think in this one? What you got, Earl?
Yeah, it's a lack of talent, but only on defense. Bengals right now. If it was just, if they had any bit of a defense, they'd have some wins right now. Because that offense is pretty damn good. Burrow is the real deal. Kid as a rookie is looking like he's been there forever. So yeah, I mean, Titans will win the game with no problem because there's no defense on the Bengals.
Ed?
Yeah, this is a game where, if you're the Bengals, everybody wants to say, go into the game and we got a plan, we're going to win this. Bengals are one of those teams this year. It's about the imagery they put out there. They're no longer just laying down for teams. They're actually competitive, and that's what they want to see. They want to see the dudes go out there and play ball. And if we get a win, that's all gravy. But if we go out there and we fight, compete, that's victories for them. And because they're building for the future, and they definitely have their quarterback in Burrow. I like what I said. The only thing is, you got to stop getting this young man beat up so much with the sacks and everything. You don't want him to turn to, was it Derek Carr's brother over there down Houston?
Carr,
Yeah, you don't want him to turn into that. So you got to start protecting this young man a little better.
Yeah, Sean?
Yeah, definitely going with the Titans in this game. I think they were surprised by Pittsburgh, maybe underestimated them a little bit. They're going to bounce back against a slowly improving Cincinnati team. No jokes about it. Simple.
All right. So we got a few minutes left. I wanted to just get quick thoughts. I want to kind of circle back to the Arizona Cardinals just real quick. Greatest opportunity for improvement, whether it's a player or a unit or a defensive unit or side of the ball or whatever, greatest opportunity for improvement as the Cardinals return from this bye next week. Sean, what do you think?
I'm going to say it's Vance Joseph. He has to figure out this Simmons piece. It's a huge piece of the puzzle. It costs him a lot, and it's a very versatile tool. You're literally leaving the Swiss Army knife in your pocket and using duct tape and dull kid scissors for everything. Use the Swiss Army knife. It does a lot of things. Even if you just use it for one thing, use it.
Ed?
I'm right there. I was going to say Simmons myself. You got to get that young man involved. We were joking the other day. I at the beginning of the season, I was like, look, bring him along slow. Get him in there. Man, we 7, almost 8 games to the season, slow. That's, at some point, you sitting in the back seat, you want to get a little something, right?
That's friend zone slow. That's not even that back seat. You're not even in the back seat.
Yeah, we gotta get this moving a little bit. So, and real quick for you guys, Trevor Lawrence tested positive for Corona.
Wow.
Hey, Denver will still draft him. Denver will still draft him.
Yeah.
Be over it by then. I see their improvements, the Cardinals' improvement in one area, and people might not like when I say this, but it's going to be in their enhanced running game. Chase Edmonds, and now you giving Eno Benjamin his opportunity. Oh, I'm getting excited about this running game because them two dudes know how to run hard, and they run with the toughness and intensity, and they both are good receivers out of the backfield. Chase can do that, and Eno is very, very good at picking up blitzes. He did it at ASU with no problem. So I like that. Those two, and then of course when Drake comes back during the course of the rest of the season, they'll get better. But as the running game, like Ed was talking about, hasn't been where it's supposed to be, but it will get on track with those two guys coming in there now.
You have faith that the coaching will do that though. Will really take advantage of the running game.
You got to look at the tape. Look at what Chase Edmonds did to the Seahawks. Exploded. He basically took over that game in the second half, and it was out of the backfield and running through the tackles.
If we would have kept running instead of going for that missed field goal, we would have scored a touchdown. Chase was just chunking.
I heard you guys on your show saying that Cliff Kingsbury's play calling in that run when he ran the ball in the hurry up offense was a bad thing. I think it was actually good because he saw the Seahawks playing the sideline, so he handed the ball off, and they were running right down the middle, picking up the yards they needed to get the field goal.
You talking about
that was brilliant.
Okay, so all right, so I don't know if you heard him, Ed, in terms of when we were talking about the play calling and how at the end of the game, all of a sudden he wants to, with limited time, now he wants to start running the ball, and so
it might be a different play he's talking about. Now, if he's talking about in overtime, now in overtime. Why kick the field goal on second down? That's crazy to me.
Right.
Hand the ball off, keep handing the ball off, get it closer as you can get, and then bam, kick the field goal closer. But when they were in those 2-minute drives with those seconds on the clock and got those field goals, I thought that was good, excellent play calling when they ran that ball down the middle because all of the Seahawks were playing to the sideline. And the middle was why Kyler ran it down the middle one time and he handed it off to Edmonds to run it the other time. I thought that was perfect. And they set up that field goal to pull them within 10 at halftime and the field goal to beat them in the overtime. So I thought it was good. I mean, that was just how I saw it after looking at the coaching tape. I'm like, man, that was pretty cool. Not to mention you don't want to let Kyler throw it in that situation and give you a turnover, So I mean, hey, the run was pretty cool to me. I that's just what I think about it.
All right.
I'm not a football player though. I just see what I see on film.
All right, so we do this every Thursday. So again, it is the Neutral Zone. Make sure you tell a friend about what we do here at ksrnaz.com. Until next time, on behalf of Earl Burnett, Sean McConnell, and Ed Easy Smith, I'm Javon J. Love Adams, and we'll see y'all next time. You can.
Peace out.